Hey everybody, welcome to T-Roy Cooks. Welcome to another Tuesday chatting with old T-Roy. Appreciate you joining us. So I pulled up a bunch of the questions from the last two episodes, and we're answering those along with some of the old ones that I still have from this past winter. But most of them are recent, okay? And somebody recently was asking me about this flamingo shirt. Karen found this on Amazon, and if you're interested in getting this or some of the other colorful Hawaiian shirts, put a link down below in the description box. And if I mention any YouTubers, any products, anything like that that you may be interested in, click show more, open that description box. I've got a bunch of information in there. So let's get to it. First off, I got to give a shout out to Red's Barbecue and Pizzeria on YouTube. Y'all go check out my buddy Red. He was on a recent live chat where he joined me as a guest. Old Red, kind enough to send me some beer. This is what we're drinking today, folks. This is what is this? Aslan Beer Special Drops. All the way from Virginia, I believe is where he's at. It says it's a collaboration with Graft Cider. It's an India Pale Ale with raspberries, strawberries, vanilla, and milk sugar. It's got a 6.5% alcohol by volume. Yeah, it says Graft on the back of there. There you go. Anyway, cool label. He sent me 4 beers, different kinds. We're going to be testing them out. Also, I got this Marine Corps koozie. Shout out to all my buddies that are out there in the military. Appreciate all y'all do. Thanks for all the vets that are returned home here and are in the States. But everybody out there in their special areas around the country, around the world, I mean. Cheers to all y'all. And cheers to all my fans. It's actually pretty good, Red. Appreciate that, bro. I taste a little bit of that apple cider. It's got a really nice raspberry flavor to it as well. That's good, man. That's good. Let's get to the questions. First question for today's episode is from Brent Diez. He says, do you inject your briskets? Rarely. Only if it's like a selector choice. He says, I'm doing my first prime brisket, and I injected it with beef broth. It looks like the juices are coming out and washing off the bark. It's been on for 7 hours and it's still wet. Cheers and thanks, Brent. Brent, yeah, man. Prime, I don't really think you have to inject. I mean, you definitely can. But when when it goes through the stall, the meat fibers get really tight, and it squeezes the juice that's in the brisket out, and that's probably what you're seeing happening. I wouldn't worry about it a whole lot. If you want, you can always go and put some more rub on it. After it gets through the stall, that should fix the problem pretty good. Lucy's after something back behind the camera. Anyway, yeah, the same thing happens if you wrap it in paper or wrap it in tinfoil. That steam is going to affect your bark as well. That's why I say at the very end, I usually like to open up and peel the foil or paper back and let it air out, dry out a little bit, and get that bark kind of crispy again. What you doing, Lucy? Hey, baby. Aw, my baby girl. They like hanging out here with me. Yeah, but that's, it happens. It's not a big deal. I bet it's going to taste good. I bet your brisket tastes fabulous. Cheers to you, Brent. Next question is from Jimmy G. He says, any feedback on the Kingsford wood-infused charcoal, for example, the mesquite, in addition to chunks in the Weber Smoky Mountain? Thank you. Appreciate the question, Jimmy. I rarely use the briquettes that are infused with wood. I mean, they do give you a little flavor. If you don't have wood chunks or wood chips, you can definitely use the briquettes and get that wood smoke flavor. Not as much as if you use the real wood. But when I've used them, they tend to burn faster. I mean, they don't last as long. If you're using chunks, I would just go with the regular Kingsford Blue, man, honestly. Especially on the Weber Smoky Mountain. You don't need to spend a little money extra to get the ones with the wood that's in the briquette. Like I said, you're going to probably use them more. You're going to use more of them in your cook than if you just regular blue bag of Kingsford, man. Yeah. Either way's fine. But if you got chunks or chips, I wouldn't use the briquettes that have wood in it. think the wood infused briquettes are mainly like for your Weber kettle and stuff. That's what I mainly would use them for. Where I don't want to throw chunks on there. I'll just use the briquettes and maybe throw some wood chips that I've soaked in water for about a half hour. Excuse me. Appreciate the question, Jimmy, and cheers to you, bro. There you go. Next question. He's the window guy 1. He says, "Hey Troy, I've been smoking brisket for years and I thought I had it down to a science." Man, we all do, don't we? Excuse me. That beer's good, Red. Dang, man. I like that raspberry flavor. I like fruity flavor beers. All right, the window guy says, "I just do the probe test and it always works fine. My last one I did exactly the same way, but it came out so tender that it wouldn't slice. Made great pulled beef though." He says, but he's a little disappointed in it. Has this ever happened to you? Yeah, it has. When I cooked the Akaushi brisket recently, that $200 brisket, I started slicing into. I mean, it probed really tender. I mean, just like what I wanted, you know. And I probed I started slicing up the flat, and the first like 4 or 5 slices off the end of the flat, they were overcooked. But as I got towards the middle, it was perfect, man. It's perfect. And my point was absolutely amazing. It was perfect, man. It was good. That was some good eating, man. Woo, Lord. Akaushi is, I think it's crossed between Wagyu and Angus, I believe. Yeah, it happens to all of us, man. I mean, every brisket's different. You know, just got to watch it close, man. And you're right about that probe test, man. Just probe the meat. And, it's going to be around 200 degrees internal Fahrenheit, but I just use the probe test to actually tell when it's done. I don't go by, I don't pull it off when it hits 200 or 202 or 210. I pull it off when it probes tender. So you're doing good, man. Keep up the good work. You just got a brisket that just threw you off a little bit. It happens to all of us. It happens to the best of us, man. Next question is from Greg Dutton. He says, "Hey, T-Roy, long-time listener. I appreciate the support, Greg. Here, cheers to you, bro. There you go." Greg says, "I really appreciate all you do for us to be backyard barbecue grilling masters." You're quite welcome. And I learned from you guys, man. I learned from all of you and other YouTubers that are out there. So, yeah, we're all a big community. Like I said before, we all help each other out. All right. Greg is saying, "I've learned so much from you." Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm glad I could help. He says, "My question is, how would you reheat brisket, pulled pork, and pork ribs in the oven without drying them out? Wondering about the oven temp and what meat temp should be. Cheers." Hey, here you go. Cheers to you again, Greg. That's really good beer, Red. Appreciate that, bro. Usually what I do, I just reheat it by placing the meat in some tinfoil and put a little juice in there, a little beef broth or apple, cider juice, apple juice, whatever. That helps, that it kind of steams the brisket warm again, and steams the ribs and the pork butt and all that. If your brisket's already sliced, you can still do it in the oven, but you can also warm up some barbecue sauce and put the slices in the barbecue sauce on the stove, or do the same thing with pulled pork. If you've already got pulled pork, go ahead and put your pulled pork in some barbecue sauce and warm it through that way. Ribs, yeah, I would still do them inside in the oven. That's probably the best way to do ribs. But it all works the same. I mean, what you're doing, you're heating it up, and I would actually start off with maybe a 300-degree oven and warm it up, and then let the meat come up to, I don't know, 120, 125, somewhere in there, and then maybe crank the oven up to 350 or 400. Now, you don't want to go too hot, especially if you got barbecue sauce on the stuff. But keep it wrapped in foil. Bring the oven up to like 350, and bring the meat up to the temperature about 140, 145. That should be warm enough for most people anyway. In fact, 130 is probably warm enough. But yeah, usually what I do, I'll either heat it in the oven in foil or I'll put it in barbecue sauce on the stove, and that warms it up really well. Dude, one thing that I love to do with pulled pork leftovers, I'll make me a nice like milk gravy, white gravy, with a lot of pepper in it, and I'll make me some homemade biscuits, using some Bisquick or either homemade, some scratch. But throw that pulled pork in your milk gravy, man. and let that warm through in the gravy. And you get that smoky flavor in the gravy. You pour that gravy along with some of that pulled pork over the biscuits. Dude, you talk about heaven. That is a fantastic stick to your ribs kind of meal. Trust old T-Roy on that one. That's a keeper recipe right there. I've actually done a video on that. If I can find that, I'll put it up here for you guys. Appreciate the question, Greg. Appreciate it, man. Smokehouse BBQ. He's a YouTuber on YouTube. He's got a YouTube channel, is what I'm trying to say. You gotta go check him out. Links down below. Says, hey, T-Roy, cheers to you. There you go. Appreciate you, bro. He says, I got a technical question. I started my own channel, and the first few videos I made, I had a radio playing in the background, not knowing the issues YouTube enforces on copyrights. Yeah, that's not good, man. He says, well, I edited the videos and muted the audio between the areas where I was talking, but still you can hear the radio in the areas where I am actually speaking, and it was still flagged. Yeah, you can't have any copyrighted music, any copyrighted TV shows on in the background, nothing like that, man. He says, should I do a voiceover or just scrap those videos, or do you know any magic? You know, usually what YouTube will do, they'll let you keep the video up, but they will give any monetization that you put on the video, they'll give that to the copyright owner, that money, instead of giving it to you, because it's their copyrighted work, you know. The other thing you can do is YouTube, at least they used to, give you the option to remove, when you get that copyright claim, YouTube used to give you the option to remove the audio, remove the music, you know, and maybe replace it with something from the YouTube music library. So you may want to try that. You could always do the voiceover. You'd have to kind of re-edit the video to get that looking right, you know, especially if your face is on camera and you're having to do a voiceover with exactly what you're speaking. That can be a little technical right there. But if none of that works, yeah, scrap the video, man. One thing I will tell you, though, if you put up a video and it has been flagged for copyright by YouTube, and you delete that video, that's also not good. That's not good at all. YouTube does not like that. So if you've got a copyright claim on a video, best off either seeing if you can remove the audio through YouTube and replace it, or leave it up there and just don't worry about getting any money from that video. The money that you get on that video from people watching the ads and stuff on it, if you monetized it, the money goes to the copyright creator who owns the music or the TV show or whatever. So, yeah, got to be careful with it, man. Got to be real careful with all that stuff. Appreciate the question, bro. He says, let me see. Franco C. How you doing, Franco? He says, howdy, Troy, from your neighbor to the west in New Mexico. Cool, Franco. Glad to have you as for a neighbor here, man. He says, my question involves two of my favorite things, beer and barbecue. That's what I'm talking about. Cheers to you, bro. All right, Franco says, while visiting a buddy in Austin, he introduced me to Thirsty Goat from Thirsty Planet, and it was awesome. Yeah, that is some good stuff. He says, have you had that beer? If not, I highly suggest it. I have had it, but it's been a long time, man. It's been a long time. I'm not one to drink really super hoppy beers. Not, you know, a lot of the IPAs, they're too hoppy for me. You know, I used to be into that, but I just don't do that much, you know, not much anymore. I'm thinking that Thirsty Goat may be a little hoppy. I can't remember. But I'll get some more for you and try it out, okay? Just got to remember to do it when I'm out shopping for some beers. He's got a second question. Franco says, also I have an offset and I'm wanting another cooker with a set it and forget it type ability. I'm torn between the Weber Smoky Mountain and the Kettle with the slow and sear. Eventually I'll end up with both, but which would you suggest getting first? Cheers, bro. And cheers again to you, Franco. There you go. It depends on what you mainly cook, Franco. If you mainly grill, then I'd say get the Kettle. If you mainly smoke, then I'd say go ahead and get the Weber Smoky Mountain. If you just want to, I mean, the Weber Smoky Mountain is going to be more set it and forget it than your Kettle. Even with the slow and sear. I mean, you're still going to have to tweak the vents a little bit on using the slow and sear. Not as much as if you just had regular charcoal in there and using the little charcoal baskets that came with the kettle. But yeah, man, it's they're both excellent. If you just want more versatility, I'd say go with the kettle. If you just want pure barbecue smoke flavor, go with the Weber Smoky Mountain. They're both going to be fantastic. They're both great. I have both of them, and I love both of them equally. And the Weber Kettle with the slow and sear will give you the same, pretty much the same smoke flavor you get from the Weber Smoky Mountain. Plus, you can grill dogs, burgers, cook steaks on it, whatever you need to do, man. So, yeah, good times, good times. Just depends on what you want to mainly cook. Next question we have. It's another YouTube buddy of mine, my brother Sal, the Root Boy Cooks down in Florida. How you doing, Sal? Cheers to you, my man. Sal's one of those channels I don't really ever miss a video. I mean, if I do, it's rare. Love my boy Sal, man. All right, Sal says, I love a good dry hopped ale. My favorite beer of all time is Bell's Hop Slam. Yeah, that's what it is, Hop Slam. He says, what's yours? I'd say probably, I'd say Willin by Brazos Valley Brewing Company, or the Badge. I call it Badger beer. Y'all have seen me drink it before, but it's hard to get here in Austin. I usually get that when I go up to Justin's around Dallas, because it's a Dallas company that has that. I can't remember the name of the company that makes it. Anyway, it's called The Badge, and Willin here out of Austin. Root Boy got something else. He says, my favorite Weber attachment. Yeah, that's it. My favorite Weber attachment is the rotisserie. Rock on, T-Roy. Hey, rock on back to you there, Sal. I appreciate you, brother. And again, cheers to you. Yeah, I think it was a week or two ago in the chat we were mentioning, somebody was asking what's some good accessories for the Weber kettle, and I said the Santa Maria grill. But yeah, rotisserie also. Rotisserie works really, really well, man. Next question is from David B. He says, I like this format. Cool, David. Appreciate the feedback, man. He says, lots can be learned by the variety of questions. His question is, a 22-inch or a 26-inch kettle, 22-inch or 26 kettle is bigger, better? Okay, is bigger, better. Cheers to you. Yeah, cheers again to you, David. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate the question. So he's asking, is a bigger kettle actually better? It depends on how much you cook. For instance, it's just me and the wife, and the 22-inch is fine. That's perfect size for just two of us. If you're cooking for a big family of 5 or something, then yeah, get the 26-inch. Yeah, that's what I would do. And if you have the slow and sear, like I mentioned before, the slow and sear takes up maybe a third of the grill grate space. So if you're worried about that, go ahead and get the 26-inch so you have plenty of grill grate space. I will say, though, that lid on the 22-inch is pretty heavy. I mean, it's you can lift it with one hand, but it's a lot heavier than the 22-inch. Justin actually has one, and I've seen his and, you know, kind of cooked on it a little bit. So just something to think about, you know. If you got kids out there trying to help you, or your wife trying to help you cook, they may have trouble lifting that lid off the Weber kettle, the 26-inch. Great questions, though. I appreciate it, man. Next question is from Robert D9461. He says, T-Roy, happy day to you. And happy day to you too, Robert. Appreciate you, man. He says, could you answer me a question about smoking a brisket? I'm rather new to smoking meats. I have a Pit Boss pellet smoker. How much rub do you apply to the brisket and the ribs? Depends on the rub. I mean, how strong and salt flavor and stuff it is. I will say you can put a lot on brisket because it's a big old roast. It's a big old hunk of meat. It can handle it. Ribs, not so much. The rib meat is kind of thin. So you may just want to dust it off, you know, just dust it with the rub, you know, not a heavy coat. But, yeah, brisket can handle it. Ribs can't. But, you know, y'all seen me on video, how much rub I put on my briskets and how much rub I put on my ribs and my pork butt and stuff like that. Also, it depends on the rub too, how much sugar content you have in the rub. You know, because a lot of the, especially like the pork barbecue rubs or the chicken, sometimes they got a good bit of like turbinado sugar and stuff in there. And if you put too much on there, it's actually like gonna start melting and just melt down into the bottom of your pit. So again, a light coating. You don't want to have it caked on. Does that make sense? Excuse me. All right. Robert says, keep the videos coming. I'm enjoying them very much. I'm smoking the flat on the brisket. Robert, boomer sooner. Hey, there you go, boomer sooner. Robert, appreciate the questions, man. Appreciate it. Some rubs are stronger than others, like I was mentioning. If you put too much on there, it may be inedible. You know, you may have it too salty, or it just may be too strong of a particular flavor that you're not liking in the rub or something. So taste the rub before you put it on there. And before you start saucing it up and all that stuff, I mean, you can spritz it, but don't sauce it and stuff until the bark is set on it, until the rub and bark has set. You scratch it with your fingernail, you know, or do like Brother James does, you know, like touch it, and if you pull your hand off and there's very little rub on your hand, it's set pretty good. You can go ahead and start spritzing and wrapping and barbecue saucing or whatever you want to do to it. Anyway, thanks again, Robert. I appreciate it, bro. Gordon Farmer, what's up, my buddy Gordon? How you doing, man? Cheers. Good to hear from you. Gordon says, hey, Troy, got a couple of questions for you. Beer or beef broth spritz? Man, I've never used beer in a spritz. I have used like some Jack Daniels and stuff. That's pretty doggone good. Mix that with beef broth or whatever, you know. A lot of times I do use beef broth, like for brisket and stuff. Sometimes I throw a little pickle juice in there, like dill pickle juice. If I'm doing pork, sometimes or most of the time, I'll use like a pomegranate or cranberry, some deep red color juice, and maybe mix that with some apple cider vinegar. That works pretty good. He's got another one. He says, do you rub your meat or leave it natural? I rub my meat. I do. Now on brisket, I just do salt, pepper, garlic, maybe a little bit of cayenne. So it's a real simple rub. On the on pork and stuff like that, I usually use something like from Oak Ridge Barbecue or Big Country Barbecue, Cosmos Q. You know, those are all fantastic. Meat Church. You know, they got a lot of good rub companies out there that make rubs, man, really good. And also Heaven Made Products. Can't forget my buddy Michael over there. Really good stuff. All right, Gordon says, keep them smokers smoking, brother. You're right about that, Gordon. I appreciate your help and support and everything you do for all of us out there as well, man. Appreciate you. Got another YouTuber asking a question. Lassie's Food and Barbecue. Y'all go check him out. He's overseas. I think he's in the Netherlands or something like that. But he's got some good videos, man. Really, really good food he cooks. Appreciate your question here, Lassie. Let's see what you got. He says, good Q&A, Troy. Thanks to you as always. I appreciate the support. He says, have you ever cooked alligator? He says, I had it at a local restaurant recently, and I found an importer that has some, but would be interested to know your thoughts. I have had alligator quite a few times. I've had the alligator, the legs and not the feet, but the legs, and also the tail. The tail is really, really good, man. If you get alligator tail, that's what I would choose. You know, that's really good stuff. It's pretty lean, so you may want to wrap it in some bacon or inject it maybe. You know, I hate to say it tastes like chicken because it doesn't. It has a texture like chicken though. Okay, it's kind of a bland meat. You know, it's not a real flavorful meat, so you're gonna have to do some stuff to spruce it up. You know, maybe throw some herbs on there. You know, some rosemary, sage, and thyme or something, and wrap it in bacon. You know, kind of like I would do a pork tenderloin. I would pretty much do the same thing, and then you can just slice little medallions out of the tail section. It's good stuff though, man. It's really good, really good. And I just throw it on the grill, barbecue it. Appreciate the support, Lassie, and again, y'all go check out Lassie, man. He's got a great channel. Next question is from Yep57. He says, Troy, no one in Australia drinks Foster's. Yeah, this is an older question. In fact, the ones after this, they're going to be older questions. Yeah, somebody had asked me one time way back about Australian beers, and the only one I could think of was Foster's. So that's why I said that. But yeah, I got quite a few comments from my fans over in Australia saying, man, nobody drinks Foster's over here. So, there you go. Cheers. All right, Yep 57 says, question. I use an Australian hardwood called ironbark for my smokers, which is great for beef, but I find the smoke ring can get massive, like half to 1 inch thick. Is that a good thing or over smoked in your book? Still tastes great. Man, if it tastes great, I wouldn't worry about it. I know what you're talking about. Saw something moving over there. Anyway, I know what you're talking about. That I've actually used some of that one time before, something real similar. Somebody sent me some of that. I'm pretty sure it's that ironwood stuff you're talking about. Iron bark. I think it gets so hot. If it's what I'm thinking about, it gets so hot that the sword makers use it to fabricate swords. You know, to melt the metal to make swords, like over in Japan and whatnot. Yeah, I think that's what it is. But that's cool, man. As long as it doesn't over smoke the meat and make it bitter, you're fine. You're fine. A nice, thick, healthy smoke ring is okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. As long as it doesn't make your meat taste bitter. Different people have a different tolerance for different amounts of smoke. So if you're fine with it, that's all that really matters. I bet that smoke ring does look cool, though. That big old nice thick smoke ring. Man, I used some Oak Ridge Barbecue Black Ops one time, and I got a really nice, about a ½ inch thick smoke ring on that thing, man. That was a nice smoke ring. That was cool. Appreciate the question, Yep 57, and thanks for the support from over in Australia, man. Next question is from Ivan Poland. How you been doing, Ivan? Appreciate your question, man. Appreciate the support. He says, T-Roy, love the Thursday chats. Cheers to you. Like I said, these are older questions. Cheers to you, Ivan. There you go, man. All right, Ivan says, I occasionally see you running around with a fabulous T-Roy Cooks t-shirt and was wondering where I can get one. My name being Troy doesn't have anything to do with it. All right, man. He says, by the way, I did that delicious meatloaf recipe. Best meatloaf ever. Fine. That's cool, man. I appreciate you checking it out, man. That is some fine meatloaf, bro. I'm telling you. Karen does not like meatloaf, but every once in a while she'll ask me to make that because she loves it. Loves it. So I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. If you're curious about it, I'll put the link up here for you guys, okay? He says, I really appreciate all you do. Don't stop. I have no plans on stopping anytime soon, man. Appreciate you. He says, and Tuesday cooks and Thursday chats are great, but you're not getting to answer all the questions you have you ever considered doing another chat day, maybe with a guest? Cheers. Hey, cheers to you again, man. Appreciate that. There you go. From one Troy to another. Cheers. All right, the T-Roy Cook shirt was made by my buddy Daryl, my brother Daryl, from Bad Beast Barbecue. He's got a YouTube channel. He's down below. And I think he's got an online store on his Facebook page. So I'll see if I can find that and also put his Facebook page in the description box. Y'all check that out. But yeah, he creates all these different designs and put logos on shirts and stuff like that. Now, he's not the one I've hired to do my shirts and hats and stuff, all right? I've got another company doing that. And we're still in the process of working on the logos and whatnot. And it's not too far from being done. It's probably going to be closer to October, maybe November. So y'all just hang on. We coming. I got to save up some money so I can buy the shirts and stuff ahead of time. So it's taking a little while. What else did he ask? Tuesday cooks, Thursday chats. Yeah, we flip-flop it since then. I'm doing Tuesday chats, Thursday cooks. But yeah, still Tuesdays and Thursdays so people can find me. And also adding another day. Yeah, a lot of people have asked me like to do a Saturday morning or something like that, live. And I just, man, doing 2 videos a week, I stay extremely busy. Really do. My little free playtime is when I get out for maybe an hour a day and go play me a little Pokemon. So that kind of breaks up the monotony for me. But the rest of the time, I'm cooking, cleaning house, editing, shooting videos, responding to comments that you guys put up on Facebook and here on the channel. So I stay pretty busy just doing 2 videos a week. I don't see how people do a video every day, man. That's dedication right there. 1 video a week is It's pretty extreme. 2 videos a week, that's pretty awesome, but it's a lot of work. You stay busy, man. Anyway, cheers again to you, Ivan. Or Troy. Cheers, bro. I'll let y'all know when I get some shirts and hats and stuff ready, okay? So stay tuned. Next question is from Abelardo Aramburu. Sorry, I'm messing your name up there, man. Anyway, he says, hey, T-Roy, I'm Abe from Lima, Peru. Hey, there you go. Appreciate that, man. Great to have you. He says, love your channel, and I thank you for watching all the way from Lima, Peru, man. Cheers to everybody down there in Peru and in South America. And all over the world, for that matter. Abe says, I learned a lot from your cooking. Cheers, by the way. Hey, cheers. Cheers again. There you go. Cheers again. I love helping people out. I love it when people write in and let me know, hey, I made this. You know, you inspired me to make this, and it turned out fantastic. I love that kind of stuff. And man, y'all send me pictures and stuff all the time of what you're cooking and what it looks like. And that's cool, man. Even some of you out there, y'all go and start a channel yourself and start doing some cooking on YouTube. That's fantastic, man. I'm glad I can be a part of your life, and glad you're a part of mine too. All right, Abe says, I had a question on how to make brisket tender and was wondering if you've ever used papaya or pineapple by rubbing or injecting it into the meat to leverage the enzyme power they have on briskets. Thank you for the help. Yeah, I've never done that. Never have. I can see maybe if you inject it, that it could help tenderize a tougher grade of meat. You know, I'm not sure how meat's graded there in Peru, but it could definitely help. You know, the injection itself is going to put moisture in there, plus the enzymes from the pineapple or the papaya. Is that what it was? Yeah. Those enzymes are known to break down, you know, meat fibers and stuff, tenderize it. You know, in fact, it's a natural tenderizer. That's what it is. So give it a shot, man. The only thing I would be leery about is maybe if you leave it sitting in the meat, you know, like if you inject it and put it in the fridge overnight and then use it, smoke it the next day. I guess depending on how much you inject it, but man, it could over tenderize the meat and make it mushy. So I would actually try injecting it and then almost immediately putting it on the smoker. See how that works out. I may do that myself just to check it out, let you guys know. So we'll see. But yeah, give it a shot, man. Next question we have is William Logan. What's up, William? How you been, man? He says, great Thursday chat, T-Roy. I love seeing you wearing the St. Johnsbury, Vermont ball cap. That's a cool hat, man. Cool hat. I like that hat myself. He says, I've been using my Weber kettle with a slow and sear here in snowy Vermont. I've been smoking a variety of meats all winter with mixed results. Can y'all tell this is an older question? All right, he's had mixed results smoking a variety of meats all winter, and he was wondering, should you light the fire at one end of the slow and sear and let it burn to the other end, or do you light the entire basket, and which method works better? Cheers to you. That really depends on how much heat you want to generate. If it's wintertime and you're having trouble maintaining a good temp in your kettle by just lighting one end, then go ahead and maybe light the middle, and that way it'll spread from the middle outward on the slow and sear. That may give you a little bit more heat, or you can try from both ends. You know, light both ends and let it work its way to the middle. I would start in the middle though, because you're only using one lighter log or whatever you call them, the starter. If you light on two sides, you're going to have to use two starters. So I'm just trying to help you out there. But yeah, man, if it's really, really cold, you may just have to like take some lit charcoal and sprinkle over all of the slow and sear area to get all of the charcoal hot all at one time. That may be what you have to do. And you'll, of course, have to refuel a lot quicker if you do it that way, though. But yeah, if lighting one end, which is normally what I do, I usually start at one end and let the snake method take over and light all the rest of them individually as it burns across the slow and sear. That usually generates enough heat for me. But I'm in South Texas, man. Or Central Texas, actually, Austin. So I don't have the issues with the cold temps like y'all do up in Vermont, or Canada for that matter, man. So give it a try. Again, if you need more heat generated, try lighting the middle and let the coals work their way outward to the edges. And if that doesn't work, light them all, and then just know you're going to have to refuel a lot sooner. Hope that helps, William, and I appreciate the support, appreciate the question, man. Cheers to you, brother. I'll try to wear that Jonesbury, Vermont hat sometime pretty soon, hopefully. Yeah, I try to color coordinate as much as I can, but sometimes I just grab a hat and go. Red, thanks again for the beer. Folks, that's all the questions I got for this episode. I appreciate y'all joining in. If y'all like this kind of stuff, y'all give me some thumbs up. Hope you ask questions down below in the description box, okay? I'm kind of caught up on questions pretty much, so I need some more questions. Y'all ask me questions down there. Thanks for all the guys and gals out there who sent me their Pokemon Go trainer codes. I appreciate that. I'm up to like almost 50 friends now, so thank you. And if I can help any of y'all out with any of that, y'all let me know. But yeah, put questions down below. Be sure and check out the description box by hitting show more. Show some love to all the YouTube channels that I mentioned in there today. Thank you all for the questions. Appreciate it very much. Again, if you're not subbed, go ahead and subscribe. Click the little bell icon so you know I got a video coming up. And like I mentioned last week, if I skip a week, everything's okay. I'm just out of town with my new grandbaby, okay? So don't worry about us. We'll be fine. I'll catch you back as soon as I get back in town. Thumbs up, sub, click the little bell. Hope you share the video. That's what it is. I can always forget that, man. Hope you share the video, folks. And when you do, please tell all your friends. T-Roy cooks responsibly. Cheers, everybody. It's a good day.